Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third lesson in the quadratics unit. Last week, we focused mostly on the graphs of quadratics and the parabolas and their key features. Today, we're going to start looking at equations associated with quadratics and how to work with them. So today's lesson is going to be accompanied by a handout. You can take a look at it and fill it in as I go along if you would like. You do not have to, but just know that the practice questions are at the end here, and I will post the solutions to that. Okay, so let's go back into the presentation here. So our learning goal today is to be able to expand and simplify binomials using a bunch of different techniques. So expansion means multiply and simplify means collect like terms. So to remind you what expansion means, remember if we have something like 2 times x plus 4, this 2 has to multiply each term in the bracket. That's called the distributive property. The 2 distributes to each term in the bracket. So if I were to write that out math-wise, 2 times x plus 4 is equal to 2 times x plus 2 times 4. And now you're going to do any math we have here. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 4 is 8. And just to have another example, just so we have this under our belts, here the x is going to distribute into all the terms in the bracket. So x times x plus x times negative 5. X times x is x squared, and then negative 5 times x is negative 5x. We always put the constant in front of any letters that we have, and we also put x squared terms first if we have x squared terms and just x terms, okay? And you'll see that as we go through this unit. So what is a binomial? Well, we actually saw one in the last page. I think it was x plus 4. So this is a binomial. So a binomial is any expression that has 2 terms in it, and those terms are separated by an addition sign or subtraction. And these are all examples of binomials. It could be x plus y, it could be a plus b, it could be 3 plus 20x, anything that has 2 terms in it separated by an addition or subtraction sign. So we're going to look at expanding 2 binomials. This is just multiplying. So we just did one that had 1 number in front of a binomial, so you had to multiply each term here by the term out front. Well, now we have 2 terms out front, so you have to do it again. So for example, this one, you're going to do x times both of these terms, and then 1 plus both of these terms, and you're going to add those together. The first way I'm going to show you is with algebra tiles, which is a little strange, I know, considering you don't have them at home, but you may be familiar with this method. You may have seen it in another math class, so I wanted to show it to you, but I will show you 2 other ways how to do this. So if you remember algebra tiles, a square is an x squared term, a rectangle is an x block, and the little square ones are the singles, the 1 blocks. Okay, so to do this, we're going to set up our chart, and you're going to put your first equation, or your first binomial, sorry, across the top. So you're going to fill in your x into the first box, and then your 1 or whatever it is into the second box. Now, down here, you're going to do your second binomial. So you're going to put your x in your first term box and the second term in the second box. Oh, but hold on, we have 3 ones, right? So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 ones. Okay, so this is how you do it with algebra tiles. I was getting ahead of myself there. So now that we have this set up, you can imagine if you have an x by an x, the only thing that can fit in here is one of your x squared squares. And then the only thing that can fill this in is your x rectangle, which makes sense because if you do x times 1, you get an x. And then down here, you're basically going to add all of the tiles that fit into these. So we need 3 more x rectangles. So let's put those in there. And then here we need 3 of the single unit squares, the little squares. Okay, and now to find a final equation, well, you figure out how many of each type of block you have. We have one x squared block. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 x blocks. And we have 1, 2, 3 1 blocks. And so this is how we write it. We have one x squared block. We have 4 of the x blocks, and we have 3 of the single 1 blocks. So that's how you do this using algebra tiles. Okay, I'm going to show you another method that's very similar to that, but instead of using tiles, you're just filling in the boxes with writing. But first, because I completely forgot about this, is we can check our answer with Desmos, which is really nice. So what I'll do, I'm going to leave this because even though I just had it right up. Oh, and this is a gentle reminder. Hey guys, don't forget to do your knowledge hook assessments. And I'm also going to post knowledge hook practice questions for this unit. So to go to Desmos, you're going to go to desmos.com, start graphing, and then you're going to type in your equations. So x plus 1 times x plus 3. So x plus 1, you can just use your keyboard. Or if you want, there's a keyboard down here that you can bring up. The next one is, what was it? X squared plus 4x plus 3. X squared, if you don't have the keyboard, I can't show it to you because this thing's in the way. But to do an x squared, you do x and then shift 6. So you get that little hat. That'll make an exponent. X squared plus, what was it, 4x? X plus 3. And did you see that? Did you see how they overlap? See how if I take this off and put it down, look, they match. And if they match, that means they are equal. So yes, in fact, if we use Desmos and they line up, that means they're equal. So this is a really, really good way to check your answers using Desmos. So I really highly suggest that because we probably will use Desmos as we go through this unit. Okay, so then what I want to show you is, notice how we have 2 equations for the same parabola. Well, these are different forms of the same equation, right? We started with this form, and when you multiplied it, you got this form. Well, those are 2 different forms of quadratic equations. The first one, it's called factored form, and the second one is called standard form. So I just want you to be familiar with those terms and to what type of equation it relates to, okay? Excellent. So now let's do the chart method or box method. This is exactly the same as the algebra tiles, except you just use your writing instead of tiles. So we've got x plus 1. You're going to fill in x plus 1 across the top. And then x plus 3 is going to go on the side here. And then each box is going to be the 2 terms that intersect there multiplied. So this box is x times x, which is x squared. This box will be x times 1, which is x. This box is 3 times x, which is 3x. And this box is 3 times 1, which is 3. And now to find your final equation, you're going to write your x squared term first. So always do top left first. And then you're going to write down the x terms, the two of those, and then finally your constant. And then, just as before, if you have multiple x terms, you can combine them into one x term. Okay, so our final answer there is x squared plus 4x plus 3, and that's the one we did with the tiles, and that's the answer we got, so that's good. So just to show you another one, just quickly how we did that. So you're going to take your first binomial and put each term in the top boxes here. And in fact, it doesn't matter which order that you could put 2 here and x here, but I wouldn't. Just keep it simple by putting it in order that they appear in the equation. Okay, so now we're going to multiply the intersections. So this one is x times x. This one is 2 times x. This one will be 3 times x. And this one down here is 3 times 2, which is 6. So you're going to write each of those 4 terms down in order of highest power to lowest power. And then you can combine those x terms in the middle to get 5x in the middle. And there's our answer. I'm going to show you a couple more. I'm not going to go through them. I'm just going to click here. And then if you want to stop the video here to try them, and then the next slide will have the solutions. So I'll give you a second to try those, and then we'll come back. Okay, welcome back. I assume you paused it, you did it, and here are the solutions. So you should have got x squared plus x minus 2 for the first one and x squared plus x minus 6 for the second one. Last method is called the FOIL method. If you've seen this content before, you've probably seen this method. This is called the double distributive property, which just means that you are going to multiply the x into these two terms, and then the -3 into these terms. And FOIL stands for the first terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. So let's do this step by step. So the first terms in each binomial is x and then x. So x times x is x squared. The outer terms are this term and then this term. So x times -3 is -3x. The inner terms are the two ones that are like sandwiched in the middle. So -3 times x, so that gives you -3x. And then the last terms is -3 times -3. Okay. Now, just like we did with the last two methods, you're going to write down all of your terms. And then you're going to combine your x's. So if you have -3x and another -3x, you're going to have a total of -6x's. And that's how you do the FOIL method. I'll go through another one just so you have it. So this time we have x plus 4 times x minus 3. So remember our FOIL is going to be your first term of each binomial. So x times x squared. Outer is next, so x times -3, -3x. Inner is 4 times x, 4x. And last is 4 times -3, which is -12. You're going to write down those 4 terms and then combine your x values to get x squared plus x minus 12. Okay, so those are the 3 methods that you can use to expand binomials. You can use whichever method you would like. I do want you to know you will see the box method and the FOIL method in grade 11 and 12. You may see algebra tiles as well, but you will most likely see the box method and FOIL. Okay, so you need to complete the practice problems on the handout that I've posted on Brightspace. I will also post my solutions. Then once you're comfortable with that, you can do the 4.3 quiz, which will be posted on Brightspace. And I have posted some additional questions on Knowledge Hook, so you can try those out if you'd like to as well. Okay, that is it for this lesson, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, guys.